Hey everyone, I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business, and today I want to talk about something that is pretty near and dear to me as a content creator, and it's putting in conviction into what you do. And I'm going to use my example as being a content creator to work through this and kind of talk about it, but also relate it to investing in cryptocurrency and a few other things. But I really believe that having high conviction in anything you do in life is extremely important. I can't remember the exact saying, but it was something like, whatever you do, do it with all of your might, because there's no reason to be, putting half effort into things that you do. I mean, it's very interesting that I find that if I put a lot of effort into all things in my life, it translates into other parts of my life. So if I put in a great deal of effort to clean my room, that same effort translates over into my content creation, where I am putting all the effort that I can possibly put into it. High conviction, high effort, being willing to lose again and again and again. And that's what allows you to win in the long term. Being willing to lose in the short term is how you win in the long term, because that's the only way that you get the experience, you learn the lessons, it all compounds, and that's how you're winning in the long term. And the reason that I'm describing it like this is because for years on my YouTube channel, I was getting 0 subs every single day, very, very few views, and it took years to even become a very small channel. And today still, I am an extremely small channel. But I'm making basically more money than my day job by doing this now. So, even if you're a small channel, there's amazing things that you can achieve, and the ROI can be exponential, but for potentially years, you might be getting nothing. So you got to be willing to lose to win. But before I really flesh this out and actually share with you my YouTube analytics and all that good stuff, a quick word from my sponsor today. A big thank you and shout out to my sponsor, Cake Wallet, which is an open source, non-custodial Bitcoin and Monero wallet that also has a built-in exchange. It's available on iOS and Android. Thanks again to my sponsor. Also, if you guys didn't notice already, this is the first video that I'm recording finally with my new camera. So I'd love to hear feedback from you guys. The only thing that I'm kind of not sure about is the placement of my microphone, because I know it's slightly defocused, but it's also in the foreground, so it might look a little awkward. But if I push it out of the shot, there's more reverb in my voice. So it really depends what is more preferable to you as the viewer, the shot or the audio. So let me know in the comments below. Maybe I'll do another video where I have it outside of the shot, and then you guys can kind of compare. We'll see. It definitely is a lot worse, more echoey though. So let me know on that, and let me know what you think of all this. I'm really excited about it, and I think it's an awesome improvement. And I will soon be using this camera to get a lot more thumbnail shots and poses and things as well. Anyways, though, I won't leave you guys waiting any longer. This is what I wanted to show you. This is the lifetime view of my YouTube channel, and I'll zoom in a little bit here. So you can see this started September 26th, the 26th of September 2016, or at least that's just when they're showing it anyways. I was getting, 1 view, couple views here and there. The views slowly go up over time, and it gets a lot more, consistent and a lot better. But as you can see, again, for years, it was very, very, very low, right? Barely anything. Almost no views, right? And I have over 500 episodes or so, but I've deleted a lot of my original ones because they're very mediocre. But that's how it goes when you start off and you have no idea what you're doing when you start. And I had a webcam as my camera for the past 4 years until recently. But as you can see here, yeah, it exponentially goes up, and then now I'm getting an amazing amount of views, and now I'm monetized and all these amazing things. And when I show you my subscriber count too, this is even more telling. Almost no subs ever, like for years. Very occasionally I get 1, I get 2, 5 that day. But for the most part, very, very painstakingly slow. Sometimes even losing subs. But it didn't really start to, really take off until probably 2019 or so. So for years, I was making videos all the time. There was years where I was doing it daily, or at least periods of time where I was doing daily and periods of time where I was doing every other day. There was also times where I was writing blogs separate from my videos as well. So there was a lot of different things that I was doing when I started. But the whole point of this, the reason that I'm even sharing this at all, and I think I proved my point there. It's just that when you go out to do something, you think, oh, this is such a great idea. This is gonna just take off. It's gonna be so amazing. And I've talked to a lot of content creators over the years. People come to me for advice. How do I come up with topics? All these different things. And something that I notice the most often is for people who are struggling with their content or who are very new, will go out of their way to try to, as I said earlier, try to learn everything that they could possibly do. They'll spend all this money, logos, all these things. They delay actually posting content or actually doing it for so long that by the time they finally get out their first video and they spent $1,000 on the editing and they got a really good thumbnail and they paid, just all of their savings was poured into this to make it just so over the top, and it gets 1 view because this is your first video ever. How are people even going to find it? So I think a lot of people get extremely discouraged, whether it's YouTube or any platform. And the whole point of this is to just say, you need to have high conviction. If you're serious about this YouTube channel, you don't make 1 video and then say, oh, well, this didn't, do really well, then I'm giving up. No, I mean, you make something, you start doing something because you're interested in doing it, not, you work one day at your new job and find out you didn't make $1 million and then you quit. Well, you have ridiculous expectations. And, if you come with ridiculous expectations, you will be discouraged. Instead, you come thinking that you're probably not going to get many views at all, probably not going to do very well because you're inexperienced. So you create a video and then you learn, and then you create another video and then you learn, and you keep going for years and years and years and years. And then finally you get to a point where you wanted to be when you originally started, but it took you hundreds of videos or whatever to actually get there. And again, this is in the context of, creating content, but this could apply to many, many different fields, whether it's even work related or something completely different. As I said earlier, if it's investing, if it's, a relationship, for example. If people treated their passions the same way they treated a relationship, it wouldn't make any sense, right? You're doing this thing, it's so great. You have a small hiccup and then you just completely abandon it. Well, then that's never going to work out for you. So in the same way, you have to apply conviction to everything you do in life. The same way that you would have to do so for your career or your investing or whatever it happens to be. The point, again, is you have to be willing to lose in the short term or, in small bursts, willing to lose, not necessarily trying to lose, but not being concerned about losing, because that's what's going to cripple you from actually doing and then learning and then eventually winning out in the end. Because you could look at me now and you could still say that I'm losing, in the short term, or you could say I've already won because a lot of people would love to have a channel this size and et cetera, et cetera. But it's about putting in that grueling hard work, day in, day out, consistency, progress. It's all super cliche, but it's absolutely the case. Otherwise, everyone would be doing, so amazing, and everyone would have and then there'd be so much noise, you wouldn't be able to cut through any of that to actually have a clear message or to actually, get to your audience or whatever it happens to be. And again, how this could apply to investing. I've mentioned this before, but I see people investing in Doge and all these random coins, and they don't have real conviction in it. So when the crypto market starts to, go way down, as we've just recently seen, people will panic sell at a loss, do all this kind of stuff because they don't really have conviction in those investments. They're just kind of random things that they just bought into because they're like, hey, why not? Like, hopefully this goes 100x. And while that's fine to gamble, because that is what you're doing, if you want to actually make big money, you've also got to put in big money. So you can't just put $100 into Doge and hope that you become a millionaire. You have to put a ridiculous amount of money into Doge. And that is exactly why I don't want people to gamble away their life savings, because you're not going to actually make a bunch of money on all these terrible coins out there unless you're putting in a substantial amount of money. And again, you'll also be able to lose a substantial amount of money. So you should go with the safer, more tried and true investments. Again, I've mentioned this so many times, but it blows my mind that people call me a boomer or a conservative investor because I'm only investing in Ethereum and Bitcoin, and those are two blue chip, of stocks in the crypto market. Everyone wants the penny stocks, so they go for all these altcoins and pump and dumps and all this craziness. Again, in the same way that that you have to have that conviction for whatever you're trying to pursue, you still have to have that conviction for investing as well. Because when I see Bitcoin go down, to me, that's just a buying opportunity. I have the belief and the conviction in my investments that I will just put more in, not panic sell out when there is, a big dip or whatever it happens to be. And again, it's the same thing. Whereas if, I put all this money into Bitcoin, I'm hoping that it's going to do really well. And then it doesn't do so well. And then, a lot of people might decide to just be done with crypto after that. But in the same way, you have to keep at it. If you really have conviction for Bitcoin or whatever you're investing in, you keep going, you keep putting into it, you have conviction, you have belief in it. And then you stick at it and it pans out. I mean, obviously that's not guaranteed or anything. It's not the exact same comparison, but I think it's very similar in the same way that you have to be willing to lose to win. Lose in the short term to win in the long term. I have to be okay with my portfolio going down $70,000, $80,000 in a week, which is what just happened. And still to be able to have that conviction that Bitcoin is going up in the next 4 to 5 months, and I will still put more money in, even though it might be more sound for me to just be investing in my tax-free savings account, to be just, building up my dividends, which are performing amazingly. But I have that conviction in Bitcoin, in Ethereum, in my investments, in my work, whatever it is. I'm all in all the time. And I think that is so, so important. Maybe it's not for everyone. But for someone who's actually doing this, for someone who's actually made a ridiculous amount of money in the crypto market off of good assets, not off of trying to get lucky and all this ridiculousness. And this isn't financial advice by any means, but as someone who's done all that, lived out the previous bear market and went through the past, 4 or 5 years, to finally get to the place where I'm in the green. Yeah, you've really got to have that conviction. And a lot of people who are in this bull market now, it's their first cycle. So that can be very, very daunting. We're more or less in alt season right now, so everything is insanely volatile. I think it's very, very challenging to navigate this emotionally. I mean, obviously most people would be completely devastated by a $70,000 to $80,000 loss, but it's not a realized loss. I'm very, very confident that Bitcoin and Ethereum are going up. And while that is a substantial amount of my portfolio, I'm still well in the green, right? I mean, I'm still like 4 or 5x my original investment. So I can't really be upset about that. And over time, you kind of get more used or desensitized rather to all this emotional distress and craziness with the price and the volatility. But this is something that you kind of learn as you go. And again, whether it's, pursuing something completely new, or investing, or whatever it happens to be, relationships, you need high conviction in the things that you do anywhere in life. And you always have to be willing to lose to win. Another way of saying that is you have to be willing to be wrong in order to be right. And by always being open to the idea that you're wrong is the only way that you can ensure 100% that you are right. And that's from Alan Watts, who's amazing. Anyways, that is everything for today. Hopefully I didn't ramble on too long. I think this is very, very important to internalize and understand, whether you want to start creating content similar to the way that I've done, whether you want to start investing in cryptocurrency or just in general. Whatever you do in life, you do it with all of your might. Barring aside all of the obvious exceptions like crime, etc. But whatever you do it with all of your might, and that carries over through anything you do in life. So again, don't half-ass certain things and then actually put in effort to other things. It all is going to bleed through into the other habits you do in your life. Whatever habits you've established, it will play out across all aspects of your life, and that you can be assured of. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about this. Do you have high conviction in what you're doing? Are you leading the life that you're trying to live? Like, are you pursuing the passions you want to pursue? Are you investing in things that you should be? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Bitcoin and Ethereum? I hope you guys haven't had as rough a time as I have for my portfolio. But again, I am very confident in where we are headed. Let me know what your price predictions, etc. are. Again, this is not financial advice, but if you did watch to the very end, I really appreciate you for doing so. Comment #1ham in the comments below, and that way I know that you did in fact watch to the very end. And anyways, as always, I really appreciate you for watching. Thank you so much, and until next time, cheers.